We all have dreams. We chase them like children chasing butterflies. We think that if we just catch that one beautiful thing, our hands will be full and our hearts will be happy. We work hard. We are good people. We do what is expected. Our neighbors respect us. Our families are proud. Yet, sometimes late at night, when the world is quiet, we feel a small, empty space inside. It is a feeling that something important is missing, even when our lives seem so full. It is a quiet question that whispers in our minds. Is this all there is? Is this what happiness feels like? This feeling is a common human story. We build our lives like strong houses, with solid walls and sturdy roofs. We fill them with furniture, with achievements, and with the praise of others. But happiness is not always found in the structure itself. Sometimes it is in the light that comes through the window, or the gentle breeze that flows through an open door. We can have everything the world tells us we should want, a good job, a nice home, and the respect of our community, and still feel like a stranger in our own life, searching for a warmth that we cannot quite name or find. This journey to find meaning is a path we all walk, in one way or another. We look for answers in books, in success, in the faces of people we love. We believe happiness is a destination, a place we will arrive at once we have done enough, or achieved enough. We think of it as a prize to be won at the end of a long race. But what if we are wrong? What if happiness is not a place at all? What if it is something that grows quietly beside us while we are busy running, something we might miss if we only look at the finish line? This is a story about that very question. It is a story about a young man who had everything and yet had nothing. It is a story about a cracked bucket, a long path, and a lesson that changed a life. It is a story that reminds us that sometimes our greatest purpose is found not in our strengths, but in our imperfections. It is a story about finding joy not at the end of the road, but in the small, beautiful things that grow along the way, often because of the very cracks we try so hard to hide. In a small, quiet village, nestled between green hills, lived a young man named Daniel. To everyone in the village, Daniel was a model of success. He worked harder than anyone else. His hands were skilled, his mind was sharp, and his spirit was strong. If a neighbor needed help, Daniel was the first to arrive. If a task needed doing, Daniel did it perfectly. He was respected. He was admired. People would point to him and tell their children, "Be like Daniel. He is a good man." But the village did not know Daniel's secret. Inside, Daniel felt a deep and hollow sadness. Every morning, he woke up with a heavy heart. He would look at his accomplishments, at the respect in people's eyes, and feel nothing. The praise felt like a language he could not understand. He felt like an actor playing a part in a play, saying the right lines and making the right moves, but feeling no connection to the character he was portraying. The emptiness was a constant companion, a shadow that followed him even on the sunniest days. He often wondered, if I have done everything right, why do I feel so wrong? He tried to fill this emptiness. He worked even harder, hoping that more success would finally bring him peace. He built a bigger fence, planted a more beautiful garden, and earned more money, but the hole in his heart only seemed to grow wider. He felt lost, like a traveler on a road with no signs. He needed guidance. He needed someone to show him the way. He had heard stories, whispered in the village market, of a wise old man named Eli who lived alone on a distant mountain, a man who understood the secrets of the human heart. With a small bag and a heavy heart, Daniel decided he had to find him. The journey was long and difficult. He walked for days, his mind filled with questions. He climbed steep paths and crossed gentle streams, leaving his village and his old life behind him. He was not sure what he would ask the old man, or what answers he could possibly receive. All he knew was that he could not continue to live as he had. He was searching not for more success or more respect, but for a simple thing he had never known, a moment of true happiness. When Daniel finally reached the top of the mountain, he found Eli sitting quietly outside a small hut. The old man's face was lined with the wrinkles of a long and thoughtful life, and his eyes held a calm, knowing light. Daniel, out of breath and spirit, poured out his story. He spoke of his hard work, his success, and the deep, unending emptiness that haunted him. He asked, "I have done everything I was supposed to do. Why am I not happy?" Eli listened patiently, a gentle smile on his face. When Daniel was finished, the old man simply stood up and handed him an old wooden bucket. Eli pointed to a small well near his hut, and then to a large, empty barrel at the other end of a long, dusty path. "Your task is simple," Eli said. "Each day for 1 week, I want you to fill this bucket with water from the well and carry it to the barrel. Try to fill the barrel by the end of the week. Daniel looked at the bucket. It was old and worn, and down one side ran a long, noticeable crack. He was confused. This was not the profound wisdom he had expected, but he had come all this way, so he agreed to do as the old man asked. On the first day, Daniel filled the bucket to the top. He walked carefully along the path, but with every step, water trickled out from the crack. By the time he reached the large barrel, the bucket was already half empty. He felt a familiar sting of frustration. He was failing. The next day, he tried to walk faster, thinking he could outrun the leak, but he only spilled more water. The day after that, he walked slowly, trying to hold the bucket steady, but the steady drip, drip, drip of leaking water was a constant sound of his failure. Each evening he returned to Eli, tired and defeated. "The bucket is cracked," he would say. "I cannot fill the barrel. I lose half the water every time." And each evening, Eli would simply nod and say, "Try again tomorrow." By the end of the week, the large barrel was not even a quarter full. Daniel felt like a complete fool. He had failed at this simple, pointless task. He went to Eli, his head hung low, and said, "I have failed. This was a waste of time. The bucket is broken. And so am I." Eli listened to Daniel's words of defeat. He put a gentle hand on the young man's shoulder and said, "You have not failed, Daniel," his voice soft and reassuring. "Come with me. I want to show you something." The old man led Daniel back to the start of the dusty path near the well. "Now," Eli said, "look closely at the path as we walk. But do not look at the side you walked on. Look at the other side." Daniel, feeling a bit confused, did as he was told. He looked at the side of the path opposite from where he had been walking, and it was just as he remembered. Dusty and bare. Then Eli said, "Now, look at the side of the path where you walked." Daniel turned his head, and his eyes widened in disbelief. Along the entire length of the path on the side where the cracked bucket had leaked was a beautiful line of wildflowers. There were bright blues, soft pinks, and sunny yellows all blooming in the sunlight. The barren dirt had been transformed into a vibrant garden. He had been so focused on the water he was losing that he had not even noticed the life that was growing right beside him. He had been walking through a field of beauty every single day and had never seen it. Eli asked with a kind smile, "Did you think I did not know the bucket was cracked? I knew. I planted flower seeds along this side of the path long ago. I knew that as you walked this path each day, you would be watering them." Eli pointed to the flowers and continued, "You thought you were failing because the barrel was not full. But look at what you have created. You have brought beauty and life to this barren place. Your effort was not wasted. It was just creating something different, something you did not expect." Daniel stood motionless, just staring at the flowers. He understood. All this time, he had been measuring his life by the water in the barrel, by the finished goals, the perfect results. He saw his own life in the cracked bucket, something flawed and imperfect. He had seen every drop of spilled water as a failure, but now he saw that the water was not lost. It was given. It had nurtured something beautiful. The crack, which he saw as a weakness, was actually the very thing that allowed the flowers to grow. His efforts had a purpose he had never imagined. In that moment, standing on the path of flowers, Daniel finally felt the emptiness inside him begin to fill. It was not filled with success or praise, but with a quiet, warm understanding. He realized that happiness was not a full barrel at the end of the road. It was the flowers that bloomed along the way. It was the small, often unseen impact of our daily efforts. He had been so focused on reaching a perfect destination that he had completely missed the joy and the beauty of the journey itself. The journey, with all its imperfections, was the point. We are all like Daniel. We all carry a cracked bucket. We have flaws. We make mistakes, and we feel like we are falling short of our goals. We look at the water we have lost, the dreams that did not come true, the plans that failed, the moments we were not perfect, and we feel a sense of failure. We compare our half-empty buckets to the full ones we imagine others are carrying. We forget to look at the path we are walking. We forget to see the flowers that our efforts, and even our flaws, might be helping to grow. The lesson of the cracked bucket is simple, but deep. Our true worth is not measured only by the goals we achieve. It is also measured by the good we do along the way, often without even knowing it. A kind word, a helping hand, an effort made even when we feel we are failing. These are the drops of water that fall from our cracked buckets and nurture life around us. Our imperfections are not always weaknesses. Sometimes, they are the very channels through which our goodness flows into the world, creating beauty in unexpected places. So, do not be ashamed of your cracked bucket. Do not despair over the water that spills. Instead, embrace your journey. Keep walking your path, even when you feel you are not perfect. Keep trying, even when the results are not what you expected. Look around you. Notice the small moments of beauty. Appreciate the positive impact you have, however small. True happiness is found in valuing the walk, not just the destination. It is in knowing that even with our cracks, we can make the world around us blossom,